Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed at Hitmix 88.9 WEIU.
Why, thank you for listening in. You're listening to the Tales of Music and Film podcast hosted by none other than DJ Apollo, aka Christian Taylor, and thank you for listening in. Today is going to be a very special recording because this is going to mark my 30th episode. And I thought, what better way to celebrate 30 episodes than to talk about something brand new that just came out this past week. And this is going to be my very first TV show that I'm going to cover on my show. So what better choice than the brand new Wednesday Addams show that just dropped this last week on Netflix. I had the honor of watching the entire first season over my Thanksgiving break. And let me tell you, I am blown away. This show is a masterpiece. I loved every episode. And we have got a lot to get into here today. So, to give you a little intro here, my history with the Addams Family is that I actually watched zero Addams Family stuff growing up. When the trailer dropped for this show, it got me hooked instantly, and I realized that I hadn't watched anything Addams Family related. So last month, I was at a Walmart and I found a Blu-ray pack of the two early 90s films. And I watched those movies and I got hooked pretty fast. I thought the movies were very funny. I loved the stories. I loved the characters. And I just thought they were very wholesome films that a whole family could watch together. And it kind of prepared me, it introduced me to the characters that we're going to see in this, played by different actors, of course, just a different adaptation or adaptation of the source material. I really enjoyed the movies, and I think it really helped me understand, how the Addams Family operates and what each family member is like and everything. And of course, Wednesday is the fan favorite. Everybody loves her. So the fact that we got a show centered around her older, I thought was just perfection. The show is directed by the legendary filmmaker Tim Burton. Now, I only watched I did not watch that many Tim Burton movies growing up. I, of course, grew up watching his Batman movies. Batman 1989 and then Batman Returns in 1992. But that was about it. I also did watch Beetlejuice a lot growing up. And I did watch other films he did. Like I watched Edward Scissorhands once. And I watched his remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a couple of times too when I was a kid. But honestly, that about does it. I haven't watched any other of his work. And this show is Tim Burton at his very best. I thought that he was the perfect choice to direct this show. Like, Wednesday she definitely looks and acts like a character Tim would have written. This is his kind of story, and let me tell you, he brought his A game into this show. His directing style in this, just the story, the effects, the sets, the atmosphere, the characters, all that stuff were just peak perfection. I'm so happy that he was the one who got picked to direct this show. And I'm telling you right now, the show is making all kinds of major breakthroughs right now. Like currently, if you look up the show's ratings, it's now been given a 4.7. The audience ratings, if you go on the internet, this show has single-handedly taken over the internet by storm. And I just found out today that the show made a record-breaking debut on its first week on Netflix with 341.23 million hours viewed. And it now holds that very record for most hours viewed. Stranger Things season 4 held this record on Netflix with 335 million hours, but the Wednesday show beat it, and that is insane. And Stranger Things is a hugely successful show as well. So that tells you something, that about, like Wednesday beat one of the biggest top shows that's currently airing right now. And it's only the first season. It's already making so many breakthroughs. Pretty darn crazy to think about. And the cast for this show was really, really good. Honestly, this whole thing is full of actors I've never seen before. Like, the only actor who was in this that I genuinely, kind of knew was Jenna Ortega, who played Wednesday Addams. She's the only one in this that I kind of had, I was kind of familiar with because I saw her in Scream 5 last year in the theater. But literally everybody else, never really seen them before. But I thought it was really cool that on the cast list, they brought back Christina Ricci, who played Wednesday in the two early '90s films. I thought that was really cool that they brought her back to play a main character in this. I thought that was a nice little detail they did. I actually had a theory going into this show that she was going to be like Wednesday from like the future, like warning her on what's going to happen to her at school. Like, that was my theory the entire time, but that's not who she was at all. But what they did with her character in this, I thought was pretty darn cool. Jenna Ortega's portrayal of Wednesday in this show, I think she's the best Wednesday that we've had. The way she brings this character into the modern day was so perfect. I cannot imagine anybody else playing this character. Like, talking about it just doesn't do it justice. The way she talks, the way she walks, the outfit she wore, her facial expressions, she never blinked once. It's just, she single-handedly brought this character to life. Like, I did not see Jenna at all during all the 8 episodes. I see Wednesday Addams. Like, she just disappears into this role. Like, this is one of those roles where it's like, I think she was born to play this character. Like Hugh Jackman with Wolverine or Patrick Stewart with Charles Xavier. It's just like, those roles were meant for them. She was breathtaking in this. People are already calling her this generation's Scream Queen because she's done a lot of horror movie stuff. She was just in a movie not too long ago called X by Studio A24, and she was in the new Scream movie, and Scream 6 comes out next year, and then she also did another movie called The Babysitter Killer Queen. So she's done her fair share of scary projects, and she's making quite the name for herself. And she is on the right track. She's a breath of fresh air for me. If you watch interviews with her, she's judging by her from what I can tell and see, she's a very down-to-earth girl who really loves her job. She's well-spoken, she's funny, great sense of humor. She's just an all-around very positive girl, and she loves her job, and she doesn't take herself seriously at all. She genuinely loves her life and what she does, and it's very cool, Like, I think she's got a good career ahead of her in Hollywood. Like, she just turned 20. Like, she's only 20 years old, and she's already made several major breakthroughs. Like, I think she's going to be just fine. And of course, we have Christina Ricci coming back, and she plays a character called Marilyn Thornhill, who is one of Wednesday's teachers at the school that her parents has her go to. And then we have Catherine Zeta-Jones, who played Veronica Adams, who is, of course, another fan favorite. I actually haven't seen her in anything. So this is my first time seeing her in something. And the only thing I knew about her going into this, that her husband is the famous Michael Douglas. And Michael Douglas, like, we all know him. He's a fantastic actor. But this is my first time seeing her in something. Let me tell you, she did an amazing job bringing this character to life. She was perfect for this. I thought she did an amazing job bringing Veronica to life. And then up next, we have another actor who I only saw in another movie, Journey to the Mysterious Island, featured with The Rock. That was the only other film I've seen this actor in. His name is Luis Guzman. Played Gomez Adams, and his casting actually stirred up a lot of controversy. Apparently, a good majority of the fans were not a fan of him being cast to play Gomez. But the thing that people are failing to see is that they're basing Gomez's appearance off the actor who played him in the early '90s films. And people forget in the original story of the Addams Family, like Lewis is built just like the original design of Addams. Like he was a lot shorter and he had a few pounds on him. Like Gomez in the early '90s films was really tall and was really thin. But in the original source material, that's not how the real Gomez looked. Like Lewis really, he was the perfect choice to play him because he looks and sounds the way the original source material Gomez would have looked and sounded. And I thought he was the perfect choice to play him. Like, he was great. He wasn't in the show very much, but the scenes that he was in, he did a great job. I have my fingers crossed that Gomez and Veronica get more screen time in season 2 because, in my personal opinion, we didn't get to see them enough. But the times that we did see them, like, they were brilliant. And up next, we have an actress who I've only seen in the brand new Star Wars trilogy, Gwendolyn Christie. She plays Relissa Weems, who is the basically the head of the school that Wednesday goes to. And oh my gosh, she was gorgeous in this show, man. Like, her character was amazing. And when you watch the show, you kind of wonder, is her character an ally or a threat? You have to watch the show and find out. But man, did she do an amazing job in this? Like, I loved Relissa. Like, she was the kind of character where, like, she believed in law and order, and she always brought the school first, and she always cared about the students' well-beings. And I just really loved her character. And up next, we have Isaac Ordonez as Pugsley Adams, and he wasn't really in the show that long either, but dude, he did such an amazing job bringing Pugsley to life. He was perfect. Like, one of my favorite scenes in this show is in episode 5, where Gomez gets arrested by the police because he was falsely accused of murdering a student when he went to school when he went to school there back in the day. And there's this beautiful scene with Wednesday and Pugsley sitting at a lake, and they're talking about the situation, and Wednesday's telling him to stay strong and everything. And there was this cool little callback that I thought was pretty cool, where Wednesday brings a lunchbox for Pugsley, and he opens it, and it's got 2 hand grenades inside of it because he wants to fish. And it was a nice little callback to the early '90s films. And him and Wednesday both throw a grenade into the lake and they kill dozens of fish. I thought that was a nice little callback to the early '90s films. It was a very beautiful scene. I thought they both did an amazing job bringing the Addams Family kids to life. And up next, we have Emma Myers as Enid Sinclair. Enid was one of my favorite characters in this show. And she's basically the second main character, in my opinion. Like, the best part about the show to me was the dynamic between Wednesday and her, because Enid, to me, she represents everything Wednesday is not. Because, you know, Wednesday's quiet. She's quiet, keeps to herself, big loner, very odd. She I wouldn't say she's violent, but she's a very strange individual. And Enid, for example, she's super talkative. She is very cheerful. Always, it's like she's never in a bad mood. and she always helps people, and she's always so giggly and excited about everything, and she constantly cares about how other people think about her. So she's literally everything. She's everything exact opposite of Wednesday. And they clash in almost every episode. And throughout the whole time, you're wondering, it's like, okay, are these two going to be friends or are they going to be enemies? You know, it's kind of left up in the air for several episodes, but they do end up eventually becoming best friends by the end of the show. Because one of my favorite scenes is in the finale where Enid tries to hug Wednesday again, because throughout the season, Enid kept trying to hug Wednesday and she kept backing away because, you know, Wednesday, she's not exactly a hugger, if you know what I mean. And they ended up finally sharing a hug at the end of the show. And it was one of my favorite moments in the 8 episodes. It was such a beautiful scene. Everything about it with the music and everything, I thought it was just amazing. But yeah, Enid was an amazing character in this. And what's cool about her is that, so at the school they go to, it's called Nevermore. And it's a school where all outcasts go, where all like supernatural people or outcasts go to finish up school. Because in this universe, Wednesday's 15 years old. She actually turns 16 on episode 4 or 5 of the show. Like, she's just a teenager, and she keeps getting kicked out of every high school because she does these atrocious, horrible paybacks to bullies that bully her and her brother. And the show literally opens up with these gang of swimmers bullying her brother and locks them in her locker. And she goes to where they're swimming, and she literally drops 2 bags full of piranhas into the pool. No one's killed, but some students were injured severely badly, and she's just standing there with a huge smile on her face. And then this leads to her parents having to have her go to the Nevermore Academy. And when she gets there, the very first person she meets, her roommate, who is Enid. And when you walk in, you can tell right away that Wednesday is very uncomfortable with Enid, because they walk into the room. The whole room is covered in brightly colored, you know, stickers and wallpaper, posters, stuffed animals and everything. And Wednesday looks scared beyond belief. And what's funny is, in that same episode, when she comes back, Wednesday actually took over one side of the room. Like, everything, like on the right hand side is Wednesday's space. Everything's all depressing, all darkly colored. She pulled off every bright color that she could find. It's all just dark brown, black, and gray colors on her side, which is supposed to match her personality, I guess. But I thought it was pretty fun. Like the room literally represents their personalities, outgoing and quiet, and they clash all the time. Very cool to see. That's really the main cast for the most part, and the cast in this all brought their A games. They really did. If there's one thing this show had going for itself, is the characters. That's what really drew me in. I loved the interactions with everyone. It was so cool to see. Like, watching the Wednesday show, it gives me serious, like, edgy or gothic Harry Potter. That's what it feels like to me. And as a Harry Potter fan, I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It fits. I love it. And the murder mystery, so the premise of the show is that it's a murder mystery in a way, where these bad things keep happening to Wednesday, and she realizes that someone's trying to kill her. And it turns out there's an unsolved mystery about the Nevermore School revolving around her parents when they went to school there 25, 30 years ago. So the whole show is her uncovering her family's past while trying to figure out who's trying to kill her, and she makes new connections along the way. And it's very cool to see. Another cool character in this show was Thing. We all know Thing. He's the classic Addams Family fave, the walking hand. The interactions between him and Wednesday were so cool because, like, you know, Thing can't talk. He talks with sign language. So Wednesday has to tell the audience what he's saying. and I love the interactions between them. Like they're like their family, and I love like they work together to figure out the mystery and everything. And another dynamic that I loved about this show is that Wednesday falls in love with her first guy, and the guy's name. So here, I want to name off one more cast member because he plays an important role in this. The actor's name is Hunter Doohan, and he plays a young boy called Tyler, who Wednesday meets in the local town near the school, and he works at a coffee shop. And I loved the dynamic between the two of them because like Tyler doesn't get freaked out by Wednesday necessarily. Like when he meets her for the first time, he talks to her as would anyone. He would talk to her as like he was talking to anyone else. Because Wednesday gets bullied all the time, so it's harder to the point where she doesn't really try to make connections with anyone. And then she meets Tyler, and Tyler is super nice to her, and he helps her out with stuff all the time. He does all these surprises for her and everything, and for the first time, she generally likes someone. And I loved seeing the relationship between them unfold over the 8 episodes. It was very breathtaking to see. I won't spoil it too much. I highly recommend you watch the show to see for yourself, but it's a very cool thing to see. And I thought the actors had really good chemistry together on screen. And back onto the story itself, the story in this was amazing. I was on the edge of my seat every episode because, like, each episode, like, we would get some things answered, but then a million more things would be left unanswered. And the way it draws you into the mystery of like what is going on here, like. There was not one episode in the 8 episode run that felt like filler. Every episode played an important role in the overall story, and that was amazing to see. Like, you have the main plot. There was no real like side plots going on. Like we had plot A from beginning to end. Maybe there was like a plot B sometimes, like plots B and C, but they never took over. Like each plot that this show was carrying out all got the same amount of time. Nothing was bigger than the other. So I thought that was a nice little touch they did there. But I loved the story, and dude, the ending finale to this show where everything gets answered and once everything is figured out, talk about a giant plot twist. Like things happen in the finale I would have predicted or guessed ever. And dude, the other thing I'd love to talk about is the atmosphere and the visuals in this. Like the Nevermore Academy design, oh my gosh, the school's design is so cool. It literally reminds me of like Hogwarts. It is such a breathtaking set. The set designs for this show were amazing. I have to give a major thank you and congrats to the film crew who built those beautiful sets. They were magnificent. The Nevermore rooms in the show were so amazing to see, and the abandoned buildings, just like the atmosphere. It was everything you ever could want for a show like this. It was so amazing to see. And on top of that, the visuals in this, like the design of the creatures that we see in this are some of the best computer work I've seen in a while. Like, to give you an example, Enid is the character of Enid. She's actually a werewolf, and during the finale, she has her very first transformation, and her transformation scene, like the computer effects, I thought was magnificent. And the other killer monster that was after Wednesday, the design for him, I thought was the design for the creature itself was really, really good too. The computer work in this I thought was pretty top notch because it looks so good because if the crew were given time to really design and make scary looking creatures that looked real. And I'm glad they were given that time because all the creatures, like all the computer work in this really stood out in a very positive and good way. And the visuals in this are just like a chef's kiss, just perfection. I have my fingers crossed, man, that we get a season 2 because there are so many things about this show that was left unanswered. And like, dude, the final line we hear from Wednesday when she's leaving the academy to go back home for winter time, she's like, I know the suspense is killing you. It's like, Wednesday, you have no idea. Like, oh my gosh, the ending to this show just, it allows you on the edge of your seat. You want more. Like, I want this show to go for like 5 seasons at least. Now, I just hope Netflix does the right thing because in the past, unfortunately, Netflix has been known for canceling shows that were legit doing well, that were very creative, and they cancel them. With the groundbreaking record viewings the show is making, like, Netflix would have to be absolutely insane to cancel this. Like, I think it's confirmed at this point we're going to get a season 2 because there's already like theory videos coming out. The cast and crew are talking about their theories about what they want to do for season 2. Like, I think it's set in stone as season 2 is going to happen, even though a season 2 has not been greenlit yet. But if you're into like darker adventure stories with a loner lead, this show is everything you could possibly want. Like Tim Burton, like this to me, this show is his epic comeback. Like, I even read somewhere that this is his highest viewed project in the last 2 decades, and I'm not surprised one bit why. The writing in this show was everything. His direction, like his directing style. There is honestly nothing negative that I can say about this show. I enjoyed every minute of it. And Jenna Ortega, I just wish I could meet her and just tell her, like, listen, you are an amazing actress, an amazing human being. Thank you so much for putting all that effort and work into bringing this character to life. And, dude, Jenna Ortega, man, what else can I really say about her Wednesday portrayal? Like, just to give you an idea about how dedicated she was to playing this role, she didn't blink. If you pay attention to the show, Wednesday never blinks once in every scene she's in, because she did a take. She was filming a scene. She did a take blinking, and then she did one where she didn't blink. And Tim liked the idea of Wednesday not blinking, so he made the rule that she was never allowed to that during scenes she wouldn't blink. And on top of that, one of my other favorite scenes in this show is the dance scene where at the ball, her and Tyler go to the dance, and then Wednesday does this amazing choreographed goth dance that Jenna choreographed all by herself 2 days before they shot it. And what she did was she watched a lot of 80s goth videos of goth people dancing at parties back in the 80s. And she got every dance move from watching those videos, and she choreographed the whole thing by herself. And man, I'm telling you, like, even the actors said that she is a living Wednesday Addams, because apparently she was told a lot of times throughout her life that she looked and acted like Wednesday. Like, the way she would act sometimes, the things she would say would sound like something Wednesday would say. And what's funny is when she went into the audition for Wednesday, she was in the middle of filming the movie X, and she actually showed up to the audition covered in prosthetic blood and gore because I believe it was the day they were filming the scene where her character gets killed by getting shot with a shotgun in X. And when she went through the audition, she still had all of her makeup and all of her gore makeup on, and she had her prosthetics on still and everything. And she went through the audition. looking like that. And Tim connected with her instantly, and he instantly knew that they had found their Wednesday. I thought that that was pretty crazy that Jenna went to that level to make sure she got the part. Like, I think that just shows you her dedication. Like, I think she was very determined to get the role, and my golly, she knocked it out of the ballpark. Like, if there's I think it's Oscar worthy in my opinion. Like an Emmy award should be given to her because, like, dude, she put so much effort into this character, and my golly, did it pay off. Everyone did. And that's going to wrap it up for this recording. I'm so happy that I was given the opportunity to talk about the Wednesday Addams show. Magnificent show. You can find it on Netflix. I recommend you go check it out. It was amazing. It was way better than I was expecting it to be. And it's one of my new favorite shows right now. And till next time, this is DJ Apollo, and you're listening to the Tales of Music and Film.